AKA Patters. Welcome to me eating crow. I got egg on my face. I spent years someone gleefully proclamating that I would, really never do animation regularly on this show. I always make references that animation doesn't hold my attention and all of these other things. Now, some of that is true. But there's been a transformation, and times are a-changing. We're doing animation, and we're starting with the 1997 masterpiece. This is what I call the greatest animated film of all time. Now, previously, this title was held by Walt Disney's Fantasia, and or Ralph Bakshi's American Pie, and or Akira. Anastasia trumps all of them. I want to get into it, but we're also going to highlight what happened with me. Like, why are we discussing animation all of a sudden? Why is animation now a focus on the show? And the career of the director, basically the creator, the creative force behind Anastasia, and many other animated features, Don Bluth. We're going to do a filmography rundown. So let's get into it. Peter A. DeLuca here, a.k.a. Pad69. This is the Film Buff Podcast. Animation.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
So here's the wild thing, a.k.a. Padders. I would tell people all the time, I tried watching, I couldn't hold my interest. Tried watching Star Wars to Clone Wars, couldn't hold my interest. I tried to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, and it couldn't hold my interest. I struggled through Spider-Man, Across the Multiverse, like so on and so forth. All of that is true. And it will kind of blow people's minds. So you can see that they would look at me disingenuously. They would question it immediately when I would say this to people. Because a lot of people know me from the world of illustration, from design, from creativity, from you versus the blank piece of paper, as I love to refer to as. And they just look at me, and I could tell I was getting the skunk eye. I just love that term. Skunk eye or not, I feel like I needed a awakening. And I had that recently when I watched the 1997 Anastasia, and the only reason I put it on because my fiance and I, we were just we were aloof on the sofa after we commonly have joint workouts, and sometimes you just won't put something on the TV. We came back pooped, we were tired. I think we were debating on where to go to eat in the city of Philadelphia. That's where your boy over here is from. And I just put Anastasia on because it was available on Max. And this is, again, I will say it all the time. This is why I love these streaming services. The availability and the spontaneity that we can explore, and in this case, re-explore material that maybe we're not so familiar with as time passes on. We forget a lot of stuff. I put it on, and as soon as I'm seeing the animation... Now, look, guys, a lot of this is what's called rotoscoping. Again, I would blow people's minds because I know so much about the technology and the techniques that go into animation, right? But I'm looking at the rotoscoping, and I'm seeing the colorization, the way this is colored, and then the music, the St. Petersburg song. Have you heard News in St. Petersburg? I believe it's catchy as all hell. And we're using CGI. We're using CG coloring. That's where the smoky shadows on the figures' faces come from. And I'm looking at this production, and it literally hits me like a train. And it's not like a train on train tracks. I'm talking like a train dropping from the sky, crashing through my building, like a very Donnie Darko style, crushing me on the sofa. And we watched a good chunk of it. Bartok, he's a white bat. Rasputin is such a good villain. The voice acting, Meg Ryan, John Cusack, It's there's so much about this movie that's dead on, and it's light years above. I know you guys are going to flip out, but comparatively speaking, when it comes to this style, and by style I mean there's a lot of technology from the eras of animation, from this style, from this era, the characters are better than Beauty and the Beast. The characters, the way that they're animated, what's happening in front of our eyes, it's better than Aladdin. It's better than The Lion King. This golden age of Disney that we all hold on to. And this movie somewhat too for the director, Don Bluth. He broke away from Disney. Fox and the Hound, his animation accolades go on and on. He might be the most accomplished animator in history. And I'm talking animation. I'm not talking Don Bluth is trying to open up a theme park in Florida. I'm just speaking of what this guy knew he could do, what he was maybe born to do. But we're kind of at this end of an era for Don Bluth where he nearly took out Disney. You guys know how much I love the world of professional wrestling. Don Bluth very much was a WCW to Disney in the 90s, the same way how Eric Bischoff and the NWO and WCW nearly beat WWE. Nearly. I still feel like if it wasn't for some mergers, acquisitions, and bean counters, if WCW was allowed to continue with primetime slots, they would still be with us today. They really would. If you just look at the next level of talent that they had after NWO, it's just a matter of time before, because they could create characters. That's the we're talking about wrestling. WCW might have been the last great competitor of WWE that could create characters, and that also goes right into Don Bluth. He created characters. He created pops. So he goes to an era of just having like absolute hits and doubles, like doubling the budget. So from 1982, The Secret of NIMH, all the way to 1989, All Dogs Go to Heaven, he's doubling, or like even in the American Tail, right? American Tail's look at American Tail's budget, $9 million, box office $84 million. Land Before Time, budget $12.3 million, $85 million. Secret of NIMH too. I didn't realize Secret of NIMH did so well. Budget potentially $6 to $7 million, box office $15 million, $14 million. 14, 15 million. But then once he hits the 90s, Rockadoodle, Thumbelina, The Troll in Central Park, both of those, Thumbelina and Troll in Central Park, both dropped the same year. The Pebble and the Penguin, from 91 to 95, 4 movies, each one is one half of the budget box office wise. Anastasia comes in. Burger King promotion. I remember Anastasia being promoted. I didn't realize Christian Dunst too was in this cast. Christopher Lloyd, Bernadette Peters, Angela Lansbury. It goes on and on. This is awesome. Budget $53 million. It does not look. This is what I mean about how great of a movie. This does not look like a $53 million movie, even for an anime feature, even for this time. And the box office was $140. Since then, the movie has resonated. It hasn't. Like sometimes movies come, they go. David Newman did the songs and the music. It's just an all-star top down. And a lot of times, like movies kind of have to come and go. They go through a time of testing. But they kind of come back. They kind of come back if there's a generation of children that grew up with it. Now we're seeing that with Arnold Schwarzenegger's Jingle All the Way, Jim Carrey's, Ron Howard's, Imaginary Entertainment's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the live action, the one and only live action outside the stage musical, which is available. It's a good musical, I guess. I hate musical adaptations, I just do. But anyway, it's good. Great costumes. And then we're seeing it with kind of like other movies, like Star Wars Episode 1, right? Like, kind of resonates and creeps back. This movie did not do that. It really didn't. So it just kind of gets memory hold and it fades away. But pound for pound, the money that they spent is X3, X4 on screen. So what do we follow up Anastasia with? Well, Bartok and the Magnificent direct-to-video. So Anastasia had some popularity, had some spin-offs. And then here we go. So we go through an age now, we'll say the 90s, where Japanese animation took a hold. And the American studios, they knew the move. And I don't disagree if this was like somewhat of a collective idea. Meaning, like, this is for our best interest. We don't need a memo to share it, but we kind of have to go in this direction. We kind of have to go. So there's a lot animation-wise in the 90s that is maybe like, I would say like the 90s overall. If we talk all the animated series, cartoons on Saturday morning, and the syndication ones Monday through Friday. And we take the movies, like we take it all, we put it together. It's the most experimental age we've ever seen. It is truly explosive and exciting. Disney does Treasure Planet. It's a young adult white boy, or young adult white boy. We have a young professional in Atlantis, right? The quest for Atlantis. What's the Empire of Atlantis? What's the Disney Atlantis one? Holy crap! Total brain fart. Atlantis: The Lost Empire, I think. Oh my god! So, but we have Disney doing 2 action-driven animation features. Don Bluth comes out with Titan AE. That has a amazing soundtrack. Matt Damon, great voice acting. And guys, I don't give voice acting a ton of credit. I really don't. Because a lot of times it's like a celebrity like ever since Shrek, celebrity stunt casting, I don't give it a lot of credit because I think it takes away from the people that are true voice actors, I'll say, or like dedicated voice actors, and they bring a lot of nuance to their lines. You can just hear it sometimes. But Titan AE, right? Like, it's a post-apocalyptic humanity thrown into the stars. We have another white boy with a map on his hand, and he's leading everyone to the new planet Earth. Titan after Earth. Titan is the device that's going to create a new Earth. Now, this movie falls short. Big time. Great soundtrack. We'll talk more about this later. Treasure Planet, Atlantis, all for Disney, also falls short. And then we have a run of mature action Saturday morning cartoons, we'll just call it. SWAT Cats, Monster Force, Mummies Return. I'm forgetting some of these names. Mummies Survive, or Mummies Alive. Insanely awesome, high octane action. Some of the action is there. Something like Biker Mice from Mars, which is in the Turtles vein, but still like post-apocalyptic, grunge, a little bit of rock and roll, leather, big idea, let's go type stuff. Nothing from the 90s animation arc resonates outside of some of the cartoons. I mean, some of the cartoon series. Titan AE comes out 2000 and puts like a cap to it. Like, we're out of this era. And in effect, like, so is Don Bluth. So at this point, like, Don Bluth as a creator, like, I believe he goes into, he may have had it at the time, but he has an online university. He's still teaching animation. We go through his art department credits. He has video game credits, the American comic book industry through a 2000s, 80s mining intellectual property boom where Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats all came back. Everything outside of Thunder, Silverhawks came back. But during this boom in comics, Dragon's Lair, Space Ace, which were his video games, animated video games, so like, they come back, right? So Don Bluth, like, always hovered. And people love Space Ace and people love Dragon's Lair. I believe he has a new Dragon's Lair in production right now. I don't think he's done. I think he has, right, just out of his range. Like, I feel like he can do it all. I really do. Thank God he's still with us, right? Like, I follow him on Twitter now. And I wanted to frame this episode in a particular way to give the lesson out. You know, like, never sell yourself short. Sure, like, be well-minded in who you are and be vocal about who you are and what your likes, dislikes, and desires are. But if you don't maintain almost like an open mind, even while doubling down on your precepts and your beliefs, you know, like, that's you're not honoring the universe, I'll say. You have to leave yourself open for surprises. So guess what our next animated episode is going to feature? Well, Titan AE. If you guys didn't guess. Next episode next week, we'll be discussing Titan AE. I cannot wait to share that with you. I remember seeing that one in the theaters because at the time it was important to see that in the theaters. I wish I saw Anastasia in the theaters. I really do. AKAPAD here, guys, signing out. Get ready for more. We're gearing up for full production onslaught, so just be on the lookout for updates. Some of the updates will come in individual episodes or in some of my openers.
Okay.
Love you guys. Rock and roll.